Hey everybody, how's it going? So welcome back to Raygate Lake, and this is episode number 19 of Reel Up My Park from scratch. And obviously this is the penultimate episode before it all goes on to the workshop. So we're done with building things for now. We're just in the process now of starting to get everything ready so it can go onto the workshop and for you to actually play with the park. And guys, I didn't think that the Booster Bikes episode was going to get topped off. I mean, the success of that was overwhelming. 500 of you watched this episode in 48 hours. That's like, I'm no Mr. Beast, right? I love Mr. Beast's channel, Mr. Beast, and I could only ever dream of getting 500 views in 48 hours. Like, my first videos that I was showing was only getting 10 a month. So 500 of you decided that you wanted to watch the episode, and I can't thank you guys enough. Even more so, I really do want to welcome the 47 of you that subscribed in that 48 hours. That's massive. Guys, that means so much. And you're all joining this small little community that I'm starting to forge and pull together, and I love how it's all coming together. And like I say this every single episode, right? This park is what the community makes it. So I really do hope that you guys are going to stick around for phase 3, because we've got to finish this park now, right? This is like, even the Beast is struggling with this park, but we need to finish it, and it's you guys that are making this a thing. I think we're at the point where we should probably stop calling this a mid-budget park. I mean, we're now starting to be the size of something like Thorpe Park and Alton Towers here in the UK, so I think we can wave Drayton Manor goodbye on this one, because we're just far too big. But it's been worth it. It's really been worth it. And actually, I'm starting to plan what my next project's going to be, and I'd like you guys to help with that decision making process. What do you want to see? Do you want to see another park project? Do you want to see single ride projects? Do you want to see a different game? Like, do you want me to be playing a different game? If you want Planet Zoo, there's already a series, just FYI. So yeah, let me know what you think. And if you want a different park, what kind of park do you want? I can't go down the Disney route. I've never been to a Disney park. I would never do a Disney park justice, and plus that's just too many copyrights waiting to be infringed, right? But did you want to do like a Six Flags park? Did you want to do something massive, big budget scale of like Cedar Point, or do you want to go scale it back even further and do British Seaside, something like Blackpool Pleasure Beach or Brighton Pier? Let me know down below what you think. But this is Raygate Lake. So the last episodes then have been focused on the back area of the park here and shoring this all up. So we built our hill, very Hershey Park inspired. We built our Woody, which turned out to be an awesome Woody. And then we just built the crown, the jewel in the crown that I just couldn't even imagine, the wing coaster. Someone on Reddit, by the way, I'm so sorry, I've forgotten the username, and I should have written it down, mentioned that we should swap out the trains for the Cloud Runner trains, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. The Cloud Runner trains look so much better. So, like I say, this is the episode before it goes on to the workshop. So we're done building new stuff. This is the touch-up episode. So I've got a lot of work to do down this area. Look, that I want to just make sure that this area is all shored up and looking lovely. We're not going to touch any of this area. I promise that episode 1 of phase 3 is going to be the rapids in this area. That I promise. And I've got a snagging list of things that I've either overlooked, feedback that you guys have given on the comments section that I do actually think need to be changed, or just a few imperfections that I've noticed along the way that I'm thinking that's not quite to the standard that I want it to be to let you guys loose. And plus I also need to do a cladding check, so the hydro cladding that was missing, I need to do one final check along the way to make sure that that's all fit for purpose. So this episode's probably going to be quite a lot shorter. I'm sorry that I didn't realise the previous episode was over an hour long. That's like a lot of time to dedicate to me prattling on, right? So yeah, I'm going to make sure this episode is slightly shorter, and that's partly because, you know, there's only so much you can do, really, isn't there, with this sort of stuff. And as you can see, the Beast is starting to really struggle. I mean, I'm running an i9 processor, and it's really starting to struggle. So I'd love to see how this is going to come out for you guys. Real quick tour of the park in case you're brand new here and you haven't seen the rest of the episodes. So entrance area with our tickets, our turnstiles, our merry-go-round, and then round to the left-hand side we've got the maintenance area, we've got the railway station. And then we've got our Eurofighter, that was our 100 subscriber special, Centurion it's called. So yeah, that's episode 3 I think it was, we ended up building this one. And then we come around to the right hand side and we've got a supporting area of a few like flat rides, just to act as a bit of a crowd draw, but nothing major. Don't want crowds and everything gathering in the front of the park. You want to push them to the back of the park. So we kind of did this. And then the log flume, with the path that's interacting with the splashdown and everything. And then we've got our SLC, our unloved SLC that the park just plonked in because it was cheap and nasty and thrilling and popular at the time, cheaper than a B&M. So that's kind of the park's backstory there. Then they've got their stand-up coaster, which at the time would have been their signature coaster. This was like the time when they started to pioneer and have a real dabble with roller coasters and differing attractions. And then we come around to the booster bikes. This was again their whole idea of having unique and instantly identifiable roller coasters in the park. And so this was put together with your obvious thrown together theming, as cheap as chips as they possibly can. And then we've got the lakeside area, and what was originally supposed to be the Tudor area, but it ended up actually being a bit more of an Art Deco area. This would have been the first area within the park with our junior coaster, a couple of supporting family rides, and the restaurant that's on the lake. And then we come around to the bottom of the hill, which, as it stands at the moment, doesn't really have a name. It doesn't really have a purpose. It's just there. With our wooden coaster, all of the shops and everything going up the hill, and then up to the wing coaster, Project X, which looks so good on the sight line. And then over this side, we've also then got the hotel. So we've got the hotel with the swimming pool, all of the rooms kitted out, and all of the insides and everything here. So if you are new to the channel and you're going to have the end of phase blues, then you can always go and binge watch those. So without further ado, I am going to crack on with some of the updates and things that I need to make to this so that I can show you what's being done. So I promised this episode was going to be shorter, and I'm already just waffling on, so I'm going to shut up and cut to an update. So we're back with a view that we've not seen for a while. We're back at the front of the park, and I've decided to split this episode up into essentially 3 different sections. The first section is all of the imperfections that I've fixed, some of the improvements I've made, and some of the stuff that I've added. So I'm going to show you all of that as a bit of a park tour in a moment. The next section then is going to be the side by the lake, where I need to finish all of that work that I started and I've been putting off. And then the third bit that I'm going to do is all around the nighttime lighting. I know that I've never actually really shown you around the park at night, so as part of the detailing phases that I do in all of the previous episodes, I've done all the lighting. You'll see that there's lampposts and all sorts up, but I've never actually shown you the park, so I'm going to just do a final detailing pass of that and then end the episode on a nighttime tour. And I've done the detailing phase, and someone's put on the workshop a plug socket, a UK plug socket, and whoever you are a legend, because that was the one thing that was missing from the office. However, I also hate you because it's just taken me 5 hours to put them all in. So no, you've done a really, really good job, and it now finishes the area really, really nicely. And I know that I've not put them in all of the places that they should be either. There's going to be quite a few that I've missed, so I'll probably do that as time goes on. So for now, let's just have a look at where we're at. So we're at the front of the park. So the main change really in here is just the introduction of those plug sockets along the walls and everything. And I've also just added in some artwork. So I think it's KPR on the TMTK workshop has put these artwork up, and I've used some of the stuff in the past, but there's some new ones that have gone up and they just look awesome. So I've just added those in to the area and just sort of finished off that office space, and the walls aren't so bland anymore. Over in the business reception, the actual reception itself has had no changes. Plug sockets. In fact, I'm just going to say now, wherever I show you, there's going to be plug sockets that have been added, okay? So I'm not going to point those out. Into the actual main office area itself then, this has just had some tidy up work done to it. So that some of the desks needed realigning, some of the stuff on the desks were sort of sticking up in the air and whatever, and I hadn't noticed that from the first phase release. And so I've just tidied all those up, and I've added some more of those KPR artworks as well, which I think actually now finishes off the areas quite nice. The walls don't look so bland and so vile anymore. So yeah, this is looking good. The maintenance area, I've just added a bit of clutter. There's nothing really like major changed. I found these road sweepers on TMTK. These are awesome as well. So I've added those in loads of different places. And then coming over to... Oh, show you one thing, actually. There's a fix. I fixed something. The back of the shutters no longer stick through the wall. I don't even know if you would have noticed that in the first phase release. And if you are, by the way, using the first phase release, the cladding won't be on there because it's been removed. So if you are using the first phase release, then now when you load that park, the stone cladding, so this cladding that's on the wall here, won't actually load anymore, and you'll have loads of gaps. So just, you might want to consider going for phase 2 when it's up on the workshop. Anyway, coming into the main arena, I've added some swing signs, some advertising signs for burgs. So that just creates that sort of like advertising bit. I realised that was missing from here. From the gift shop, nothing has changed. Guest services, nothing has changed. The office space behind it has. Again, sorted out some of the levelling and whatever on the desks. Some of this stuff was just poking up in the air, and when you look at it at a certain angle, you don't notice it. It's not until you get down to actual peep angle that you're like, oh, actually, look, there's still a phone there. So yeah, just... And then I've added some artwork on the walls as well. Again, it's the KPR. Is it KPR? KRP? KPR. Artwork just on there. And then out here, again, we've done that bit with clutter. So then coming across to the Eurofighter, there's not really a lot that's changed over here. I've added the test seating at the front of the entrance, and I've also added the shutters on the Photoshop. So that's there. But otherwise, I was pretty happy with this area when it first started, actually. So, I mean, the area is supposed to be quite bland. It's supposed to be quite barren. So, yeah. So that's cool. And then coming over to here we are. Plug sockets everywhere. So, but the biggest change in dogs. So I actually did this over in the other side of the park to start with, and I just brought them over. But this is just the first place that we're looking. So sandwich refrigerators or sandwich display units. So I noticed that my restaurants that are all the grab and go, they don't have fridges, and real parks do. So I just put together a fridge unit. I have no sandwiches and stuff to put in here, and this is as close as we're going to be able to get. And we call sandwiches over here sarnies, by the way. Don't know if anywhere else would say that, but yeah, sarnies. So I've just added in a couple of those sort of like grab and go fridges, so that you didn't have to queue here. You could quite literally just grab it, pay for it, and leave and carry on with your day if that's what you wanted to do. So yeah, I've just added those in here. And then if we come over to... Come on. Oh, you see how this is struggling. So into this main area then, where we've got our junior coaster. The only real changes, other than plug sockets, are the introduction of the shutters on the Photoshop, on the photo booths. I noticed that a lot of the shops that I've got would have been open, and actually you would need some kind of security. You wouldn't want to leave them just open to the elements overnight and stuff, so I've just corrected that. And then over in Eat It, I have added the CCTV in on the ceiling, so that wasn't in here before, and also the introduction of another display unit, display fridge, and also just some vending machines and stuff as well, because again it was just missing that sort of like next level bit of realism, so just added those in. Nothing really much else has changed. This is the area I need to work on next, just to bring this up to scratch so that it's ready. Then coming over to the SLC, nothing major has changed in terms of look and feel. I've added the CCTV along the lift hill. This wasn't in here before. so CCTV cameras, and onto the brake run as well. So they're now in place, and this is the biggest introduction. It's like a maintenance platform for the chain lift the chain lift element. Obviously, I've tried to replicate it as much as I can at the top, and this is taken directly from Blue Tornado at Gardaland, where I noticed this and where I noticed that it was actually missing. And it's just a platform. Like, you wouldn't find electrics and everything up here because it's high. It's working at heights, and in the UK you try and avoid that wherever possible, so you have all of your important stuff at the bottom, but you still need some kind of a platform to maintain your chain and whatever, because it's a suspended coaster, so you have to maintain that chain lift in a slightly different way. So I realised actually that was missing, and it's changed the sightline quite nicely actually. Like, it's no longer just a bland top of a lift hill. You've now actually got some kind of focal point going on with the actual chain lift itself, which is cool. And then coming over to corrals, I don't think I actually added anything. I did have the fridges, but I took them out because I realised this would just be like a restaurant. You would just go up to your bit here. Yeah, I could put fridges actually. I don't know. Let me see how that sits. But the reason I came over to corrals is to show you this view and how this has now changed. So you might not be able to see straight away like what's obvious, but I've swapped out some of the supports. So thanks to your feedback, these supports were single vertical supports that were going up the lift hill, and then the loop was pretty much unsupported. And that's actually wrong on a B&M coaster. So I've come along and put all of the V supports in to the best of my ability. Obviously, we're dealing with the game's limitations to what is and isn't possible with supports and what you can use TMTK items and stuff for. So I've put the V supports in, and I've also put the chain lift return as well. I noticed actually that these coasters do have a chain return, and yes, there's a chain. So if you have a look, I don't know if you can see it on the actual video, but there's the chain from TMTK that runs all along the actual chain return itself. You don't need many mechanisms and stuff. I mean, the game already does this quite well. This is just a space for the chain to return back down, and it's weird angle. It's not the same angle as the lift hill. It goes from this point to the bottom, and it's just connected in a straight line. I noticed that Shockwave at Drayton Manor has this as well. So yeah, and then I've added the lift hill lighting and also the CCTV to the lift hill, and then I've also added the CCTV to the brake runs as well. So that's all on there. And then coming over to, where should we go next? Booster bikes. Let's go over this way. So booster bikes, I realised that I was missing some signage, so I've just put the missing signage in. It was just the danger keep out signs. Again, I added the shutters to the Photoshop, the photo booth, and plugs. And then inside the arcade, CCTV has been added, and the emergency exit signs. I'd completely missed those, and I only noticed those when I was actually playing the park on Sunday. I was like, oh, actually, I'm missing fire exit signs, so that's what I've done. Look, plugs. So that's what I've changed in this area. Coming over to, I need to be much more considerate with my camera movements, don't I? So coming over to chips. This is where the idea actually of the fridges came into it more than anything. So I started off by putting in the bins, you know, the drink bins that are on TMTK, and I was like, oh, these look really good. And then I was like, actually, this is when it needs a fridge. So that's what I've done. I've just put the fridge in here, around this side, and also, if I change my camera, around this side as well. So they're not obvious, they're not there, it's like in your face, hey, I'm a sandwich, but it's available. Do you know what I mean? It's in there. And then coming over to the toilet block, I've just done some tidying up inside. So the cladding being missing had just caused a few things that had been exposed that needed some tidying up. So I've just taken some time just to do that, and the dude's walking through the wall as a celebration. So in the office behind the fast pass, you can guess it, plugs. So that's all fixed. and coming around to the Woody. The Woody didn't need anything really doing to it. I still need to just put the CCTV in along the lift hill. That's my next job. And then coming up through this way, the shops just had a bit of tidying up. So CCTV added in because it wasn't in there, and just some general bits that were a bit scraggly. So I'd missed a window completely here, which is now in. Yeah, and just tidied up some of the skirting, and just some of this outside was just a bit too rough around the edges for my liking. So I've added those bits in. Over in suites, I don't know if we actually gave this a name in the end, but stuff on the shelves wasn't aligned, so that's a pretty big oversight. So I've just changed that. It's now all aligned on the shelf as it should be, and then everything else aligned as it should be. In the gift shop, nothing new. CCTV is all we've got really in here. Oh, and plugs. Shocker. CCTV and plugs. And then over in courtyard, plugs and display units, but not the fridges. So I just put these display units in. These would probably have some kind of tat in it, you know, that you could pick up. Drinks or sweets or something that the park would put in. So I've just put a couple of those dotted around, so they're now a bit more full. And again, this artwork, so I've just added some more of that artwork around. And then walking up towards Project X, I've added in the stuff that I needed to. So all the bins and the benches are now along each side of the path. I've added in some more picnic benches along this side, because this is actually quite a nice bit of a view, actually, because you can see the wing coasters, you can see Project X from there. You've got the train walking past, and if you look through the trees, you can see the booster bikes. So this is actually quite a nice little picnic area to be in. So I just added that there, and then we're walking along this way, and I realised there was actually some things that I was missing that I hadn't even noticed. So Project X didn't have an area entrance sign, so it does now. It did on the bottom side, down the bottom here, but it didn't have one here. So I've now just added that. And look, this train just in time. Hello. Oh, it's so good. even if I say so myself. And then over in the queue line, I've added the fast pass sign. The version that I did the video on, so the episode on, I'd forgotten to use the most recent version of the save file, because I pre-recorded it slightly. So that's now in place. And also the emergency lights on the brake run. Again, the version of the park that I'd used, because it was a previous autosave before a crash. It didn't have the lights on the brake run, but they do now. So there we go. And we just ignore the fact that the train just clips through everything. Shh. Don't look. Didn't see. Over on the wooden coaster, I have just put in a platform here. So I did a lot of research on the brake runs for these types of things, and I thought I needed some kind of escape strategy. It doesn't need to be escape stairs, but it needs to be an escape strategy. So what would happen here is if they ever needed to evacuate from this point, then they would bring a cherry picker in, and they would need a solid piece of ground to put that cherry picker on so that they can evacuate from this side of the brake run. They wouldn't evacuate from this side because it's a live ride area. So if the train were to move and you had evacuated people down this side, you're putting them in at grave danger. So at least if you're evacuating them from this side, they're out of the live ride area. So if the train did happen to carry on moving, then it doesn't matter because they're the other side of the fence. So you'd bring a cherry picker into here, and it would come up and just take people off, bring them down, and then they escape. And then when I do the episode that brings the backstage areas together, I'm then going to connect all of this up, so that'll then get finished along with this area here. And then coming around full circle, I just finished off this part of the path, so added in a couple of Raygate Lake signs just to remind you of where you actually are. Finished off all of the lining for the path, so brought this up from our Outlaw Fury coaster, and then just carried on the custom curbing and everything along this path here. And so now you've got like a bit of a midpoint between the two, well, between three coasters. So you've got the wing coaster, you've got the stand-up coaster, They are different colours, by the way. And the wooden coaster. So there's quite a nice little merge point of all of the coasters. So, like I say, still got a little bit left to do. A couple of CCTV things that are missing from lift hills and stuff. So that's what I'm going to carry on doing. The next part then is going to be shoring up this area here, making sure that this is all looking good. Like, there's been shops here that have needed design and stuff for quite some time. There's a game stall that needs to be done here. There's the ramp that goes into... there's quite a lot, actually, that I've just been putting off doing, so I'm going to finish that. And that will take us to our next update. So, let's see how that turns out. Well, it only took 5 episodes to get this one done. It's not like it's been outstanding for a while or anything. But this is what I've been working on, and so I'll make this update really, really quick because there's not that much to show you. I've just been working on a few other imperfections that I found around the park, but obviously nothing significant enough to show you. But this is the biggie. This is the biggest one that I've been working with and dealing with. It's this finishing off of this corner around my balloons. I didn't really know what to do with it. That's why I've left it so long. And like, as I said, I needed to know what the skyline over this side looked like and what the lake looked like for it to actually come together. But this is now sort of how I've decided to do it. I wanted this lakefront to be slightly different to the rest of the lake, in the sense that the rest of the lake is either made up of foliage or it's made up of the liner that I've put round. But I wanted to make sure that at some point the lake is very different. And so we've created a few viewpoints in the lake area. So over on the by the Screaming Swing, we've got a bit of a plaza area, or a pier area. And over by Eat It, we've got a pier area. And then over at the front of the park, we've got another pier area. So I was very conscious I didn't want to do another one of those because it was like, oh god, vary it up a little bit, will you? And so I decided to do this concrete frontage. Now, I knew at the same time we needed to have some kind of water inlet, which was going to be quite heavy concrete at some point, but I didn't want it to be obviously on show. So what I've done is I've built it into this whole like weir front, if you like. This is very much taken actually from Heide Park in Germany, and round by the Burger Kitchen. It's like a big round area that's sort of lined off with trees. In fact, you can't see the waterfront from that shop or from that restaurant. It's very much behind foliage. But I wanted to open it out, and I wanted it to be sort of like a very well kept area, but very quiet. There's nothing really going on here. This is going to be more of a thoroughfare, a through there between the two areas, rather than there being anything major that you can fit in here. So there's no point putting rides or whatever in. So this is what I've done. I've just used the TMTK concrete just to create a bit of an outline, bit of a weir, if you like, along the front, and then it's double-sided with then filled in the middle the topiary hedge, just to give it that nice clean crisp look. And I did this thinking I was being really clever, going, oh my god, this is so unique, like I've never seen this done before, until I went here and realised that that's exactly what I'd already done. I'd already done it here. So, not so intuitive. But as it turns out, it's a happy accident because it's now consistent. So, this is why it felt like when I did this actually all fitted, because it was actually an accidental coincidence. If you watch people like Darren Brown, he'll say, no, you definitely knew what you were doing, you just didn't know it. Anyway, what I was then left with, though, was this issue, this problem that you couldn't have this path here at ground level because your path would stick out and you need to find a way of hiding it, and that's what we've done elsewhere, right? But at the same time, you need it to be raised, and you're going to get a curb that's going to split between. So you either need to bring back the water line right the way back over here, which then causes you issues elsewhere, or you're going to bring the water line to this point here, and you have to then find a way of hiding the curb. So I've sort of had to squint and suspend realism a little bit. So like, I know that the gaps in between these benches and whatever are a little bit tight, and you would have some kind of other access points. Like, there'd be a gap here, there'd probably be a gap here, there'd probably be one more just around the corner, but obviously you can't do that when you've got your two paths that are so close. So what I did was I used the in-game flower beds. So, I mean, they're just perfectly fit for purpose. Do you know what I mean? They're exactly what you expect them to do. They're perfectly fine for what we're trying to achieve here. And then I just made it a flower bed and then put all of the ash trees that we don't actually use anywhere else in the park. And I thought, oh, this would be a perfect opportunity to put those, because they've got small footprints, they've got small root footprints as well, and actually they'd be perfect for this area. So that's what I did. And then I finished off the games stall, so I put a bit of effort into this. A bit of effort into this game stall, actually. Probably a bit too much effort for a game stall, especially given its location. You're very much wanting to catch people walking from like over here backwards, and I don't know how often that's going to happen. You would definitely find people walking from here this way. You definitely find people walking from here this way, but I don't know how frequently, based on not knowing what's going to come in this area here. I don't know how frequently people are going to walk this way, so this is going to catch the sight. But it didn't feel right that I had a food outlet here. We needed some kind of a games stall. We needed something that just to break it up a little bit. So that's what I've done. I've just put a couple of games in. So there's a knock down the beer things. There's a put the ball in the barrel, which I think the ball's probably too big for the barrel, but hey, it's funfair, right? it's what you got to do, make the money. Ring-a-zinger from the other side of the western area, you know, the throw the ring toss kind of thing. And then I just threw some targets up from the dark ride with some balls. And the balls, by the way, they're fences. They're the fences that got the knobble on the top, just sunk into the wall. So yeah, that's turned out quite nicely, actually. I wanted to keep it simple. I wanted to keep it colourful. It had many different colour schemes, and this is what I settled on in the end. And these yellow are actually neons, so they light up at night, and it looks good. It looks good at night. And that's my next part of this build, right? Is the night pass. So I'll show you what that looks like when that comes through. And then the other thing I did was finish off this restaurant, or this grab and go unit. I stole this. I don't know. Well, I didn't. I say I stole it. It's an exact replica of a design at an existing park. There's a fish and chip shop, a Yorkshire fish and chip shop. I'm sorry, I don't remember which park it was. It was a photo that I'd saved on my phone, and I happened to stumble across it. And I was like, oh my god, that's perfect for the restaurant I need in this area. So that's what I've done here. It's very much a replica of that, but it looks so good. The colours and everything. But it looks really good. It's turned out really nicely in Planco, especially as the actual unit in real life is a lot smaller. It's only one window, but obviously you would serve two purposes, right? You'd have sandwiches and drinks serving from the same unit, but in Planco we need two. So I've made it wider and slightly thinner than real life, but everything else is pretty much scale replica. And actually, if I'm honest, this is the first time I've really properly been able to nail this idea of this beam that sticks out into a square and then has the upper beam that comes to it. I've always been tempted just to put one across here, just to triangle it off and frame it all, but actually this has worked out quite nicely. This was a big learn for me, actually, so this has been totally worth doing the restaurant this way. And then I wanted to have the black frontage because I wanted it to stand out. And then I saw this font on the workshop a while back, and I was like, oh, I could use this over in this part of the park with some stuff that's coming. So rapids, obviously, and some stuff that you're not to know about. So I thought, well, actually I should probably start using this elsewhere in the park because of that consistent theming throughout that I talk about all the time. So that's what I've started to do here. I've given it a really awful name, Footlongs. Whatever, just add it with Eat It and Chips. It's really bad park names. But yeah, so this has turned out really nicely. And again, at night it's a good thing. So the last thing really to show you is the lake touch up. So again, I need to know what's coming this side to know what I want this part of the lake to actually look like, but I knew I didn't want to leave it as it was because it was very bland. So all I've done is I've just put some clutter and everything along the railway line, a bit of overgrowth and everything, put some more trees along the waterfront so that that's all obvious, but then also this bit is a bit of an open area. And then over this side, I have just put in the hello, I actually need to stop these from so over this side I've just put in the water outlets between the two lakes, which, well, this has been outstanding since I built the log flume and the Lake in the first season, so the first phase. So it's finally finished. Hooray! Yeah. So I just wanted to show you this that there would be pipes and everything that run underneath here that would go this way and then this way. So that's why you've got two drains that are either side of the path here, and then you'd have some drains the other side that wouldn't be blowing up. And then likewise over here with the outlet. So you would have a pipe or two that would go underneath in sort of this direction, and so that's what I've put there. I've put the manhole cover there, so you'd have access point to the pipes underneath the path. You'd have manhole cover there, and then over this way I've also done the same. So there's a manhole cover there, and from there then the actual pipes would then fire off in different directions, and that's where the other manhole covers would then pick up. So that's this update. That's all I've done. So my final part of this episode now, before I get this ready and put it onto the workshop, is the night pass. So all of the lighting, I'm going to make sure that the lighting is all effective. So let's see how that goes. I'm sure I'm supposed to say something about it being after dark and spooky and Halloween and all that sort of stuff, but you know what? I'm just going to give it a rest. I'm just going to skip over it, because you're going to watch this at another point in the year, right? So, hey, may I welcome you, though, to a very after dark Raygate Lake, and this is what it looks like. So I've done everything that I wanted to do for now. There's still going to be loads of imperfections. There's still going to be loads of things that are going to need tweaking, but that's fine. We've got phase 3 to deal with all of those. But this is what I wanted to show you. This is the park after dark, and it's looking so good. I mean, there's still graphics glitches and everything that you're going to get because of the sheer number of pieces that we're using. It's not possible to have solid surfaces along here, for example, so you might just have to squint with some of these things and just, yeah, okay, that's good enough. Like, you can see what you're trying to achieve. And I'm going to show you some techniques with the lighting as well. So I saw, actually, it was an episode many months ago, probably years ago, where Mike Sheets was a guest on Geekism with Pinewood Hills, and Mike was talking through this lighting technique, and so I used that technique in this park, and that you use it to like accent the lighting and everything that's already there. So the lighting engine in Planet Coaster is already really good. It does its job really well, but sometimes you just need to do some extra bit of lighting and some extra tips and tricks just to bring areas to life. So for example, when you're looking inside a building, you should be looking at having a very even light inside the building, and so you can't really achieve this by using the in-game lights because of the way that the light throws. So you sort of have to do this trick and tip. And then you've also got things like colour throw from signs and from reflecting surfaces. So here, for example, these don't actually reflect light onto the ground or throw it, so you have to force it into the game. And so all you do is you essentially have a grid of area lights that you then sink into the ground, and then you just choose the colours in the places that the colour would actually be thrown onto the ground. So I'll show you that in a moment anyway. So the office space, for example, is another good one because they are bright garish spaces even when they're lit. So here we go. So you can see in here that this is really brightly lit, and this is how it looks in the night time. And this actually is pretty much how an office space would look. But you need to be careful when using this technique because you can probably already see it. You freak out your graphics card the more light sources that you add. So if I force it to do it here, look. So you can see like here and here, you have like loads and loads of light sources that are conflicting for your graphics card. And so you end up freaking out the game and you freak out your display. So you need to be quite careful with how you use the technique. And like, for example, I've dialed it back in this area here because it was just freaking out all the graphics and stuff along here. But now actually you've still got that really warm, consistent light. So yeah, it's awesome. And then going back to the idea of the color and everything being thrown from lights, Eat It over here is the best example that I've pulled together. Eat It and Project X signs because of the color contrast. So here you've got like the neon signs, and that would be throwing light onto the ground. Now that wouldn't do that naturally in game, so you have to force it to do it. And so what you end up with is this this ability to have a grid of lights that sit underneath, and then you just choose these colours. So let me show you what this actually looks like underneath. And this is going to be quite difficult to select because you have to sort of play with the game a little bit. So there we go. So if I raise this up, so this is my grid of lights that I'm talking about. So they're all the same colour inside. They're all the white colour, and that creates that nice stable lighting that you've got. And then you just choose somewhere on the ground that you would expect there to be light that's thrown, and then you just change the colours. But you make sure that the colours are really, really deep colours. So here, for example, it's a, where are we? If I edit, there we go. So you can see that this is a really, really dark blue. Like, you don't want it to have any, and we're talking like down in this kind of corner, this kind of spectrum. Same with the reds. It's a really deep red, and it's a really dark, almost grey. And then, yeah, all you do is you then sink it into the ground. So if I just undo that, there we go. And then it looks awesome. Like, looks really, really good. And then all you do is you then just do that for all of your buildings that are inside, or you would be throwing some kind of light into somewhere. So for example, over here I've accented the blue slightly because it would be reflecting off of the actual building itself. So it's really subtle. Like, you can't, unless I were to point it out to you, you wouldn't actually see that I've done it. But yeah, you've got all of like the blue that's on the ground here. And then over this side, you've got the red from the shop. So again, it's that red that's bouncing off the light from the actual countertop. Over this way, Project X is a really, really good example, because here there's no obvious lighting that we've got. So there's no bright lighting. So you're going to get a much like richer colour throw on here. So you've got the pink, the blue and the red, and that all merges into this cloud. But then over this side, where you do have more artificial light and more white light, then you've just got the accents of the colours. They're exactly the same colour in the actual grid. So these are the same pink, red and blue as would be in here, but because of the light, the white that's making it wash out, it just leaves them just perfectly on the ground. And again, if I didn't point it out to you, you probably wouldn't even notice it. You would just accept that it was there. And the same is true here. This is where it's the most subtle. So obviously we've got three conflicting colours here with the light that's shining off it. So you've got green, you've got yellow, you've got blue. And so on the ground you can see that there's the green, there's the yellow, and there's the blue. But it's so subtle that it's just works beautifully. And it just makes everything pop. Like, I really like how this has come about. And then over here, same principle. So in the sweet shop, because the floor is pink and it's really bright, you're going to have throw coming out of the door, but not necessarily out of the window. So that's what I've done here, is that I've just made sure that the light is just popping outside of the door. And then over here, you've got the pink. You can't really see it in this light, but you've got the pink and the blue, and then you've got pink and blue that's throwing onto the ground. But all inside, it's exactly the same principle. So it's that warm, consistent light that you have. The same with inside here, and then the same with inside the gift shop. It's just that very. There's no variation. There's no shadow. There's no nothing, and that's kind of how it should be. So you then have different areas that have got differing like light levels. So over here it's a little bit more, it's a bit darker, whereas here you've got a more light that's being thrown, and that's just because of the choice of lights. So you don't have many street lights along this area, but you do have spotlights. And then over here we've chosen to go for street lights. But then again, your temptation would be to try and light everything, but no, that's not, you don't do that. I was at Thorpe Park for their Fright Nights, and I was sort of sat there thinking, how is this park lit at night? Because they're doing rides in the dark and everything. And the reality is, it's a really dark park. Like, it's not that well lit at all. And they just use accent lighting. So everything that, like shops and everything, would be lit, but the main areas would have very minimal path lighting. So that's kind of what I'm going for here. So you wouldn't be in a situation where you need to light everything. You just sort of do what you need to do. So park tour. Let's do a real quick recce of the actual park itself. So main area, then the entrance area is all now nicely lit up, and it's all, yeah, like it. Then we come across into our supporting area. So we've got our 3 flat rides, and then inside, dogs. Just go inside. There we go, and there, it's just nicely lit. You're noticing that nicely lit is a theme, and so I've added as well, like, all of the lights that would be on lift hills. So these would be a safety feature, right? So if the ride ever needs to be evacuated whilst it is dark, then you've got the safety feature of a brightly lit steps. So I've added all of the lighting along all of the lift hills where possible. Now with this, in an ideal world, I'd also like to include the cabling that runs down the side of a lift hill, but we just don't have the pieces to do it, for me to be able to do it consistently. So like at the top here, I need really small pieces to make it run round this curve. So where I can obviously do it, I have done. So you can see it over on the wing coaster and over on the wooden coaster. The pieces are just about good enough to do it, but for here it's just not possible to do. So it's a squint and believe that it's there kind of thing. And then we come over to the toilet block, and that's all nicely lit up. Same method, it's exactly the same. And then we come over to corrals, and I've done the same with the light throwing. So you've got the yellow, the pink, and the green, and they're just throwing onto the ground. And this would be brighter because it's a much more condensed light source. But then inside, it's all that consistent, even lighting that you've got going on. And then we come over this way to the SLC. I haven't changed the inside here because this has got deliberate lighting, so it's got that deliberately yellow, the yellow lighting in here, so you don't need to do any more lighting accenting, and you've got enough of a throw as well for it to actually be decently realistic. So all I've done is I've just added the brake run and the lift hill lighting just to make it make sense. And then we have the same over here with the lift hill lighting for the stand-up coaster, and again the station here I'd already done, and it's got deliberate lighting, and I've kept this here to show you that what this is actually achieving. So this is how it's pulled together. It's just a row of lights that are there, and you hide them underneath the station. So it's just exactly the same principle, exactly the same thing. And then we've got bandits. So we come across, and then we come over to Project X, and again we're just using different colours, like colour lighting, and then different effects all around the actual Project X area. And then we've got the colour throw here as well, exactly the same setup, the red, the pink and the blue. And then we come up to Project X, and we've already seen this area. So yeah, this is looking so good at night. And all I've done is I've just continued the white along here, because you'd have these lights here would be throwing quite a bit of light. So I've just included that. And we come back this way. We go past Storm, and then you can look out through the park this way. And then we come back down the hill. I like how this is actually, it's not one consistent light. It's not like a white light. It's a very warm white inside the buildings, yellow from the lampposts, and then the different lights that are coming from the courtyard. Like, it's creates variation in sight, and it's just exactly what you see in real life, right? So the same with this as well. When we're coming down the stairs, still that light. The area down here I've not touched, because obviously we're going to be detailing that later. So when we do the rapids, that's going to be coming later. Come across the railway line towards this area. So again, it's just this accenting of where the light would be thrown onto the floor. and out of the toilets. And then Chips has finally got some lighting it didn't have before, so it has now. And this is looking exactly as I wanted it to at night as well, like just this really bright, garish. Yeah, it's good. It's good. And we come round the corner and we come back to our softly lit family area, which then just fits in to everything. So that's a real quick park tour. Oh, and I've done the hotel as well, by the way. So the hotel is exactly the same lighting setup. So it's got the same panel of lights, and the lights are being thrown. So the idea is that these lights on the ceiling are supposed to be the primary light source that are lighting all of the areas. And I've done the best I can. That's loud. I've done the best I can in here with the space that you've got. So this you would hope would be much brighter, but you're sort of limited to what you can do when you're dealing with such a tall space, because the lights from underneath the ground only throw so far up. So, but over here is where it really comes to life. Where I've sort of hidden some more lights and everything just to give that more of an accent, and then you've just got the blue from the waterfall, the yellows, and just, yeah, it pops out. But then across the other side, you've then got all of the lights and everything. Oh, everything's turned blue. And then you've got all of the lights that are popping out through all of the hotel rooms and throwing down onto the ground. So, yeah, it's just so as I wanted it. So this is Raygate Lake at night, and you guys are about to get your hands on it. I need to do just a few final tweaks. I need to get rid of my original grids and stuff, but it's nearly time for you to have it. So guys, thank you so much for watching this episode. I know that a touch-up episode isn't exactly the most thrilling, enthralling episode to do, really, is it? But it just gives you a bit of an insight as to the fine details, those things that I go through the park and go, that's not quite right, that's not quite right, that's not quite right, and I just needed to go and fix those. So the next episode is going to be the official tour of the park, talking you through the history, and it will also have the link for you to play the park. Phase 2 of the park. How exciting. So if you want to know when that episode comes out, you know what to do. Hit subscribe. If you want to chat to me, then leave a comment on the video. Obviously, let me know what the next project you want to see is. Is it another park? Is it another game? Is it something else? Let me know. Absolutely want to hear from you guys. But guys, until we speak again, please look after yourselves, and I will see you very, very soon.